recorded. So you may not have realized, but I am making that effort that I promised I would to get more recordings on the YouTube page for Tai Chi tutorials. So what I want to do is share with y'all. Well, I have to give something to share before I can share anything with y'all. I can't, don't I? Let's close that out. Okay, I'm going to share with y'all the YouTube page, which you may or may not have seen. Sharita, I know you've seen. Rogers, I'm not sure if you have seen my YouTube page before.
Yes, I have.
Okay, very good. Awesome. Have you explored and found the tutorials?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, share. There, now I have something to share with y'all. Share. I didn't have the YouTube page open. So you should see right now my YouTube page. And you see, I have this outfit on 3 times in 3 different, or the same outfit in 3 different videos. Well, that's because after class, after my morning class, which is this one right here on Friday, I made 2 new tutorials. And these are play the lute to the left and parry and punch to the left, which Rogers, you're not quite there yet, I'm guessing, because
No.
that's our in our advanced 6. But this is my goal is to keep adding to it. Okay, so here home. And home is gonna have all the videos, that's home. Um, well, not just videos, but you see here down here, that's when I went live. This is my playlist. Like it's just kind of a summary of things that are there. Videos, that's all the videos that I have on there, which most of them are my classes. Classes will always start with SOWEGA and then the date and then AM or PM. So my Tuesday classes are in the morning and afternoons, and that's how you read that. I put SOWEGA in it stands for Southwest Georgia. I put that on there because that's who I partner to do virtual classes. And it's just easy to search SOWEGA and it comes up whenever you're looking for Tai Chi. So that's kind of just a trickery for the search engine. Um, but then like my class on Fridays is an advanced class and I put exploring. I call that exploring. That's the advanced class. I think when you call it an advanced class, sometimes it can be intimidating. And never want to intimidate anyone just with the title. All right, so live is if I want to go live. And I only did it that one time to play bingo, and it didn't work good. It, but playlist, this is what I want y'all to take note of. So playlist, there is this playlist right here called Tai Chi. And I can click on view full playlist. And so when I click on that, it gives me a list of every single tutorial that I have ever recorded. Some of them I've recorded twice, and see where I put second try. Um, because maybe I had some kind of reason. I think one of the times I forgot I'd already recorded it. And then I just went and recorded another one. And when I went to save it, it was like I already had something saved by that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've already done that. Whoops. So you may like one better than the other, but every single thing, like here, spinal warm-up stretches. So for 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, you can just work on spinal stretches. So you don't have to go through an hour-long class just, to do one single part. You can come to this playlist, this Tai Chi, which I call tutorials, and you can review any movement that maybe we did in a class. Oh gosh, I love hearing myself talk. I didn't mean to click on that. But there, that's what that is. And here it tells you the amount of time that is on those videos. And some of them are that one's 13 minutes, but that's a small amount of time just to go in and practice one part. And then you can practice one part at a time or learn it better one thing at the time. And then you can go to these videos where it's like all the warm-ups and no talking. All the warm-ups where I'm talking you through each move. So I've tried to do a variety of different ways. I think there are some where I put back turned. Gracious, I don't mean to keep clicking on that. But
see me from the front.
Oh yes,
and
we see you, sis. Well, but my back is turned. The way I learn Tai Chi, I learn best when someone's back is to me. But in this class, I teach mirror image. So right here is mirror image. And for the most part, these videos, whether they say mirror image or not, it is mirror image. If I'm facing you. I don't learn mirror image. It blows my mind of how many people can learn mirror image. And that just means that when, I'm moving my right hand in my real life, this is my left hand, but I'm mirror imaging you. And so for the most part, it doesn't really matter if I say right and you're moving your left, because everything in Tai Chi we do is balanced. So we do it to one way and then we do it to the other way. So it's generally not a big deal if you're not on the right or correct side. Do y'all have any questions about this page of how to navigate it or anything? Just know that I'm always open to suggestions of a video that you don't see there that I can make for you. Apparently a lot of people watch this. Look, 792 views. Like, wow. And I don't think any of them are my mom, like trying to show her daughter does. So I think that or the accidental clicks, I'm sure, but that makes me feel good that people are using these videos. So just know there's more to come, and as promised, I really am working on it. If you ever want to see the evolution of Jennifer's hair color, hairstyles, that's a great place to see. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair was so blonde. Oh my gosh, my hair was so short. Oh wow, I curled my hair. But anyway, such as that. So let's get started. Know that that's there. Know that all the, classes are on recording for you to go back and visit. Or if you, for some reason, have to miss class, you can go back and view that class. And so essentially you don't miss class. I'm always available for you, whether I'm live or on recording, to help you with Tai Chi. It's amazing how Tai Chi just infiltrates our lives, and we don't even realize how it can help us. But we consciously make that decision to have good posture, to open up our hips and spread our legs a little bit to where our weight is on both legs and we're more stable in our stance. Not holding tension anywhere in our body, but those are things we learn in Tai Chi and put it out there into our life, and it helps us not have tension and pain and keep stress off of our joints. When we hold our bodies in a stable way, it takes that stress off of our joints. If we were to put weight on one leg and pop our hip out like this, then, after a while, I'm going to start having hip pain and knee pain. I'm going to start feeling pain. But if I widen my stance, put a soft bend in my knee, good posture, relaxed shoulders, then there's no stress on a joint. And so we learn that in Tai Chi. So we're just warming up. I'm yapping about something. I try to give you a little bit of a lesson while we're warming up, open and closing our hands, and just generally getting our bodies flowing, or warmed up, our blood flowing, not our bodies flowing, our blood flowing. We get up in the morning, sometimes our whole bodies are just stiff, and it's because our muscles are cold. And once we get up and moving, we start going, oh, okay, I don't feel so stiff. I don't hurt. And this is the benefit of warming up. And it's as simple as walking around. You can lift those knees out. One of the moves I do, holding on to something stable, is working on hip mobility, where you lift your leg and go kind of in that circle right here, working on that hip mobility. And some days my hips will be so tight, and once I start doing those movements, they feel better. So don't give up on yourselves on the days you hurt. Start somewhere and then go from there. So let's, with our warm-ups, with our neck, remember we do neck, shoulders, spine, hips, knees, and ankles. So I'm in my stable stance, have that soft bend. I have on sweatpants today because it's cold and these are warm. And so it's kind of hard to tell that I have a soft bend in those knees. But I do have good posture. My weight's on both legs. And I'm going to turn this heater down. Our goal is to breathe throughout. And talking about diaphragmatic breathing, where we completely inhale, filling our lungs with air, and completely exhaling, emptying our lungs with air, is a good practice. But as long as we don't hold our breath while we're exercising, we can save our diaphragmatic breathing for another time. But if you can incorporate the two, that's great. So let's start with our neck, bringing our hands up, palms down, turn and bring them towards our chin and chest. Push away and follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. You can inhale as you come up and then exhale whenever you're ready. Other neck exercise starts out that same way. Now let's drop in one hand to our hip, and the other hand we follow as we look towards our shoulder, back towards the front, switch hands, and go towards the other side. Your neck may feel pretty stiff the first time you do this. But with each turn of that neck, you warm up those muscles and help them become more mobile. So you have less tension in your neck and stiffness, and that can help keep you from having headaches and neck aches. Continue to breathe as you go side to side. Don't take note of any popping that's going on. I laugh. I always think, good gracious, my bones pop. Or they creak. Like you need an oil can for them, huh? And movement is nature's oil can. That sounds like a t-shirt. Let's make it a t-shirt. Let's roll our shoulders. Feels a little awkward to roll forward. But when we roll back, that feels more natural. And that's because that's how we reset our posture. Rolling those shoulders back, thinking small circles the size of a quarter. Don't forget to breathe. We always roll forward first and then back. That can help reset posture. We want to have that good posture, like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. Big shoulder circle. Hands come up, turn, and push down. Great one to practice breath. Inhale as we come up, turn, and exhale as we push down. You can go at your own pace, depending on your lungs, because all our lungs are different. So the time it takes to inhale and exhale are different from person to person. You know, you think about a person who sings opera or really just even sings in the church choir, or somebody who swims, their lung capacity to hold air is different than someone who doesn't do those things. And it increases with practice and over time. So we're all different, and that's okay. All right, let's grab our ball and stretch our spine. So the hand on top of our ball is going to push down towards the ground, keeping the soft bend in our elbow. The other turns and pushes up, so we're pushing up and down at the same time. Come back to center and switch. Stretch that spine. I always visualize my spine unsettling. Just like a house settles, our bodies settle. That's one reason why we get shorter as we get older. So stretching that spine and getting rid of some of that settling. In terms of breath, I like to inhale as I come to my ball. Let me let Gwen in and put her name on the list. I like to inhale as I come to my ball and then exhale as I separate. So just a reminder that with that breath, it's different from person to person. So take your time with these movements. Now let's go side to side, taking that ball from just above one knee, switching our hands, and coming back across to just above the other knee. It's a good time to kind of check your posture to make sure you aren't having any tension in your shoulders or you're not leaned over forward in any way. Continuing to breathe as you go side to side and the way that works for you. This movement right here is a prepare move for waving hands in clouds. That's our third movement. I guess it's our third movement. But it's in our basic 6. So we know this is a torso movement and our hands are just going along for the ride. Come back to center and we are ready to go to our lower body warm-up movements. Keeping in mind that this is when it gets complicated because we are shifting weight to one side. I had to close out that. There. I had to close out that YouTube page because it kept popping up. All right, so what I'm going to do is shift weight to one leg, place the heel out, and my hands back. There's that counterbalance, falls in the middle, and also the cross-lateral movements. Notice that foot goes not just back, but out to the side, like a kickstand for stability. Keeping good posture. Also, don't forget to breathe. A lot of times when we're challenged is when we hold our breath. Typically, I tell y'all to breathe when I've caught myself holding my breath. So it's just easy to do. You want to be conscious of how you're holding that weight on that one leg, that it's perfectly centered over that knee. So you're not causing any extra stress on that joint. Right, side to side. So we're going to shift weight as we take those hands to the side, stopping at the frame and tapping out. Bring it in, switch, shift, and tap. Shift, tap. Nice bend in my knees, even though you can't see it. That lowers my center of gravity and helps me with balance. All right, now for our knees. So we have our loose fist by our hips. We're going to shift weight to one side, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap, and punch. So notice I'm talking a lot less about these moves today than I did last week. And our warm-ups aren't intended to take the whole class. They could be the whole class. I've taught classes before where we never move beyond the warm-ups. Not everyone is able to. When I worked at the nursing home and did Tai Chi and we did strictly seated, we just focused on our warm-up movements for the time that I was there. So if you practice principle and stay in our warm-ups, you can still get benefits from those. But it's intended to spend a little time with our warm-ups, of course, warming up and stretching our body, getting them ready for our Tai Chi moves. I just transitioned without even talking about it. I'm sorry, y'all. Shift the weight, step out, shift forward and back. I am a little unfocused, which is not uncommon for me. But the weather is like in the forefront of my mind, just wondering what it's going to be like in 24 hours. Y'all may share some of the same worries, after we experienced, at least here with the hurricane and being out electricity for, I think it was 13 days at my house, knowing how ice can get on these trees and fall and break them and fall on power lines. And there's just those thoughts in my brain. All right. For our ankles, shift the weight. Heel toe, rocking that ankle. I told my husband I was worried about it, all the things yesterday. And he said, I don't know why you're worried. And he said, because if anything happens, I'll come home and take care of y'all.
Oh,
So that made me like him even more.
oh,
Maybe it made me worry a little less. I don't know. But he's right. He always takes care of me. So what am I worrying about? Side to side. I didn't forget it this time, Gwen. Big toe, little toe. Mr. Rogers
Straight.
on Friday, I'd totally skip this one. All right, we're good to go. I mean, I feel my body so warm right now from just the warming up. I mean, that's how easily, even going so slow, how easily we can warm our bodies up. Few deep breaths, y'all.
Back, okay. You at work?
Filling those lungs and emptying those lungs. Just doing a quick check in our bodies to make sure we're not holding tension anywhere in our jaw, in our neck, in our shoulders. Reviewing how our posture is. Where's our weight? Are we widening our stance to hold our bodies as we get started with our Tai Chi? So on last week, we learned our first two moves, and that was commencement and open and close. So let's review those. Commencement is our only move that we don't do both ways. So we start with our weight on both feet. We bring our hands up, facing each other, and down. And when we bring those hands down is when we shift weight to our right foot. Then we place our left foot out in front of us. No weight yet. Bring our hands in and up. Now we're ready to give that left foot weight. As we place our hands forward or out, bring the right foot forward, and then our hands come back for open and close. So essentially, we are taking a step forward that is led by our left foot. We shift weight to our right foot. We place the left foot out. Then we shift left and bring the right foot forward. For our hands, hands start at our sides, the side of our legs. They face each other the whole time. Remember, we keep that soft bend in our elbow, so we're never out like Frankenstein. We come up, hands facing, and down, in towards our hips, up, I think of an elevator, out, and then we bring those hands in, and our fingers point up for open and close, okay? So that's the hand and the footwork, and together, again, it's hands up, down, shift right, place left, hands in and up, shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, and then open and close. Remember, we're keeping room for our armpits to breathe. So we hold our hands when our hands are out, wherever they are, we have space right here. And it's not always easy to see, but it's a difference between here and here. You see, there's just, my elbows are elevated a little bit, and I have that space there in my armpits. And that just allows energy to flow through our joints. And that's what we do in Tai Chi, is move energy, life energy. All right, so here we go. Commence. Up, down, shift right. Place left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. So I teach it to y'all with just the hand part, just the feet part, and then we put it together. And I want y'all to put it together piece by piece. So our hands come up, nothing's happening with our feet. But when our hands come down, that's when we shift right. So I talk about how our weight shift follows that hand movement. So down come our hands and down goes the weight to that right foot. So the direction follows the weight shift. So just feel what that feels like, is shifting to that right foot as your hands come down. And so you can practice breath there too. So you inhale as you bring your hands up, and then exhale as you bring those hands down. So that gives you the opportunity to feel the force of your hands, the weight shift, and practice breath. And then just add to that. So we come up, down, shift right, and then place that left out. So I'm trying to use that word place because when I say step, you may automatically give it weight. So yes, our goal is to step forward, but immediately we just place that foot before we give it weight, and that's called an empty step. So we have come down with our weight and placed that left foot out, preparing for a step. And then we do this little thing with our hands. You know, we had come down, we come towards our hips and come back up. Now we're ready to shift weight. So we shift to that left foot as our hands go out. And so do that several times. Come back here where your weight's on your right foot. Now shift weight to your left as your hands go out. And then bring it back. Just practicing that weight shift and connecting it with your hand movement. Now we know once our hands get out there, we're going to bring that right foot forward. Right foot forward. Now we bring those hands back. And that's the end of that movement. Now, whenever I bring these hands back, that's about that time whenever I put weight on both legs. So it goes from my left foot. See, I've put my weight to that left foot as my hands went out. I bring the right foot forward. So when I bring it forward, I gave it a little bit of weight, but most of the weight is still on my left foot. But when I bring my hands back, my weight's evened out again. And so when I do open and close, weight is on both feet, both legs. You may have noticed a little bit of a rise and a fall with that open and close. And that's just a little extra. Do you have to do that? No. But it's just a little extra movement where you kind of, as you inhale, bring your hands out, you rise a little bit with your legs. And when you exhale and your hands come closer together, you bend into it. You give that extra little bend into your legs. And that's just one way to make open and close a little more. So it's inhale and exhale. Inhale, you come up a little. Exhale, you come down a little. And that is working those muscles of your legs. Of course, your knees are working, right? It's kind of a mini squat of sorts where we come up and down. But because this Sun style Tai Chi has a higher stance, we're not squatting down, but we're giving the muscles a little bit of work. Guess what else? We're getting that blood flowing to our heart. So it's kind of like a pump. You know, you think about the soap at your sink and you pump it down to get the soap out. You pump your heart to get the blood flowing, going up and down. That gets that heart pumping, that blood flowing, and that's how Tai Chi is a cardiovascular exercise. And it's just ever so slightly of a movement in that open and close. So I know last week I talked about how open and close is a breath. So your hands are here. Now I'm not going to physically open my hands. I'm going to inhale and my hands open. Then I'm going to exhale and my hands will close. Also got a cramp in my back. Oh, goodness. hard on my body, y'all. But that open and close, it can be just an inhale. It doesn't have to be what that gentle resistance, like we're playing the accordion, open and closing. So just that one move can be so many things, and we can do it one way one time, another way another time. We can get so much out of these moves, even as simple as open and close. So again, commencement and open and close, and then we're going to learn a single whip. So we start here at the beginning and commence. Hands up, down, shift right, place left, hands come in and up, shift left as they go out, right foot forward, and bring it back, adjusting the weight, open, close. One more time without talking. Commence and open and close. And begin. So it's a little choppy right now, and that's okay. Our goal is slow, smooth, and continuous. But when we first learn it, it's a little choppy, but we're going to keep practicing and learn to be a little more smooth and continuous in our moves. So don't worry if you're not there yet. So our first single whip goes to the left. Yes, that's correct. The left. So, no. That's not correct. It goes to the right. I know in real life it's that way. In fake life, it's that way. Okay, here's how I do a race. Okay, so now we're going to learn single whip. In our basic 6 movements, we do single whip and waving hands and clouds to the right. And then we come to the middle for open and close. And then we'll do single whip and waving hands and clouds to the left. Okay? So remember, this virtual class is done in mirror image. So we're going to the right first. So we're coming from open and close. This is what this movement looks like. Then I'll describe it. So single whip. That's kind of the choppy version. The version that's more smooth, like we're going for. May not look that different, but single whip. So when we're coming from open and close, our weight's on both feet. We're going to shift our weight to our left foot, and we're going to step out with that right. And so it's not just out, it's not forward, it's at an angle. It's about a 45-degree angle, okay? So when we step at a 45-degree angle, it naturally turns our body at that angle without even trying. Our body just goes with that step. That step is not a big one. We don't do anything big in Tai Chi. We shift, and we're not going to step way out here. We can't move from there. So everything we do is just really small. So it's shift, and then that slight step forward and at the angle, and it turned my body at that angle. Hands are right here from open and close still. Once I adjust that weight to where weight is now on both feet, I push my hands out. So when I push my hands out, they're facing each other. I don't go Frankenstein. Keep the soft bend. After I push them out, then I turn my palms away from me. And then I separate my hands, and my eyes follow my left hand in this instance. But notice how both of my arms came out. You know the saying, out of sight, out of mind. Don't fall victim to out of sight, out of mind. to where you're following this one, but you forget about this one. So don't do that. Keep in mind, both hands separate. And when both hands separate, you're going to feel a nice stretch in your chest. You're going to feel it in your upper back and in your shoulders. You're going to feel that full movement that you won't feel if you just move one hand. Okay, so this is single whip. How do you remember which hand to follow with your eyes? Okay, rule of single whips. The foot that steps out, and in this case, it's our right foot that steps out. The rule is our eyes and head follow the opposite hand. So in this case, this is our left hand. So we push out, turn, separate, eyes and head follow that left hand. Done. All right. Single whip. To the right. So we shift left, step out and at an angle, adjust weight. Push our hands out, turn, separate. Eyes follow our right hand. Okay, again, from open and close. Single whip to the right. Shift, step, adjust, push, turn, separate. Remember to move both hands. That's our single whip to the right. Now, I want us to go ahead and practice single whip to the left. Even though they don't go one right after the other, let's just learn both sides at the same time. So the other one does the same thing. We're coming from an open and close. We shift right. We step out left. Adjust weight. Push. Turn. Separate. Eyes follow our right hand. All right. Again. Let's single whip to the right and then single whip to the left. Coming from open and close. Shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate. Eyes follow our left hand. Back to center for single whip to the left. Open, close. Shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow the right hand. So key things to remember is that rule of single whip is whichever foot steps out, your eyes and head follow opposite hand. That is a cross-lateral move, and that's really good for your brain. And we do cross-lateral moves all the time through Tai Chi. So Tai Chi is good for our brains. Again, single whip to the right. Shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow our left hand. Now to the left, shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, and separate. Eyes follow our right hand. All right, let's add that single whip to the right to our first two moves of commencement and open and close. All right, so from the beginning, we have commence, hands up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate. Eyes follow our left hand. All right, let's do it again. Those 3 moves. I won't talk you through them this time. Just push yourself and see how you are with the moves. So follow me and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Slow, smooth, continuous, upright posture, thinking about weight transfer, empty steps. Okay, again, commence. First 3 moves. Again, commence. Again, commence. That transition move between single whip and waving hands in clouds that I don't know which to give it to give it to the single whip or to give it to the waving hands in clouds. But you saw me kind of go into it. And so let's talk about that. At the end of that single whip, okay, so we're out here and we just there. And so we have kind of put a period at the end of that movement. We are done with that movement. We have stepped out, we've adjusted weight, and we are here. So our weight is on both feet, okay? So in order to move a foot, we've got to get the weight off of it. And the foot that we're going to move is this right foot. So from this position, we shift weight to that left foot, and we're going to bring the right foot back. And when we bring that right foot back, we bring the right hand down to our hip. And now that position right there is not a very stable position. You know, I talked to you about stability in how you position your body, and that if your feet are too close together, then you're not as stable as you are if you're at shoulder width or hip width apart. So that little bit of moment where you pull that right foot back to the left and that right hand down to our hip, that doesn't feel very safe. And we're only there for a moment before we step out. Okay? So that is that transition from the single whip to the waving hands and clouds. So you can practice that. We are here, weights on both feet. We shift left. We bring that right foot, right hand back, and we step out right. The more we practice this, the more we have one leg relying, the one leg holding all of our weight, the stronger that our muscles get. And so it's just all these little moments where we practice weight transfer, holding weight on one leg, that we get stronger. That's why Tai Chi helps us with falls prevention and balance. So we're here at the end of single whip, and we transition by shift left, right foot, right hand back. I got somebody coming in. Let me write her name. Halima. All right. So the transition moment, end of single whip, shift left, right foot, right hand back, and step out. And so that is what gets us prepared to start waving hands in clouds. Okay, so waving hands in clouds is a very dynamic movement, and it may take a while for you to really get the feel for waving hands in clouds. But we're going to work through it. It's what I call Tai Chi walking to the left and to the right. Okay, so what's Tai Chi walking? Well, we talk about empty steps in Tai Chi. So we're going to walk to the side by placing that foot out, but not immediately giving it weight. Just in that moment, it's an empty step. It's a placement of that foot. Then we shift weight. Now we're going to take our left foot and step it in. Shift left, place the right foot, no weight yet, then give it weight. So I want y'all to practice Tai Chi walking to the side. Tai Chi walking meaning empty step, then give it weight, and a follow step. No weight here, but then we give it weight. So each time we place that foot, we don't immediately give it weight, then we give it weight. Step, shift, step, shift, step, shift. So we're walking to the right, Tai Chi style. I've hit a wall. Now I'm just going to go to the other way. So I step, shift, step, shift. This is Tai Chi walking to the side. This is the foot movement of our waving hands in clouds. Think about posture, no tension. Don't worry about what our hands are doing. We're just worrying about what it feels like to Tai Chi walk to the side. Tai Chi being an empty step, then a weight shift. The key to this movement, when you get to a wall, or in this sense a table, then it's time to go to the other side. But what I really want you to get the feel for is how big or little do these steps need to be? Okay, so I can do it really wrong by stepping big. Well, now I'm in trouble. When it comes to shifting weight, it's a little complicated, isn't it? I can't just shift weight because look where my hips are compared to where my feet are. So what I essentially would have to do is kind of kick off with this left foot. I have to kind of bend and then kick off in order to step. So I know that's too big of a step. I also know in the opposite sense that if I follow step and my feet are touching each other, then it complicates things again for me to shift weight to one leg, then that's not as stable. So I have to find that happy medium to step out. So generally it's a little further than hip width apart, just a little bit, shift. Then my follow step is more shoulder hip width apart. So know that these steps that we take in waving hands in clouds are really small. And that's one of the things that's so difficult about Tai Chi is to get that mindset erased of everything bigger is better. That I have to be big, I have to do more, I have to, in Tai Chi, we do everything small. We typically stay within our frame for the most part, and that's for the sake of stability. So next week, we're going to learn more of our waving hands and clouds. But before we go, let's do our moves that we've learned so far today, and that is commencement, open and close, and single whip to the right, okay? And we'll even do that transition movement. So here we go from the beginning, and commence. Open, close. Single whip. And transition so that we can start waving hands and clouds. All right, any questions about anything we've learned today? Y'all are good. All right, let's give ourselves a little fist massage and tell our legs thank you for working so hard. Our legs do work really hard in Tai Chi, and that is all of that weight shifting that we do. If you get a chance to practice Tai Chi walking to the right and to the left, that'll just help you out next week when we do waving hands and clouds. Just simply walking to the right and to the left, paying attention to spacing of your steps. So you're not too close and you're not too wide. And practice it so much that that spacing just comes natural. You know what's the right spacing when you place that foot out. All right, now let's create tension. Woo. Oh, tighten it all up, gather it, and then release it. Let it go. We do not want to live in tension. We want to let it go. Tense, gather, and relax. Big shoulder circle. Inhale and exhale as we push down. Inhale and exhale. Our right fist, loose fist, represents our strength. Our left fingers together, our friendship. Our left thumb in, our humility. And we put those together in mutual respect. We say, Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank y'all for coming today. Y'all stay warm and enjoy. If you do get snow, enjoy the beauty of it, because good gracious, we don't get to see it very often in our own backyards, do we?
Yeah.
Y'all let me know if you need anything from me. Even if we get called off work tomorrow, we'll be working from home. So I'll have my computer and of course my phone, as long as, all of the infrastructure doesn't fall apart. But I'm available and I will be here, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
Love
Have a-
y'all.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Everyone have a great week.
Bye.